it said, principle, meaning the creative law, is not bound by precedent. In other words, it's not limited to what's gone before, and it's not limited to what you've experienced before, and it's not limited to what's just been repeated a whole lot. Newness is always possible. So just because somebody doesn't know the answer to something doesn't mean an answer doesn't exist. God doesn't sit stumped somewhere and go, you got me? No clue. Couldn't imagine how to deal with that. I guess I'm just going to sit down here and feel bad. You know? That's not the essence of that creative something out of which all things come. So that presence, which is all potential and has no reluctance whatsoever to manifesting, in fact delights in manifesting, awaits the opportunity to manifest and to discover the ways in which we will open that creative process. Hildegard of Bingen said an amazing thing. She's one of the Rhineland mystics from the Middle Ages. She said, humankind, full of all creative possibilities, is God's work. Humankind is called to assist God. Humankind is called to co-create. And in fact, it's more than that, I think. Ernest Holmes used to say, there is a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it. Now, that's true. We use that creative law by choosing what we're going to focus our attention on, where we're going to develop our belief. But there is another truth as well, which is you can't not use it. It is actually using you. It's using you all the time to expand creation, constantly. The co-creating that we're involved in with Spirit, it's as if Spirit is so curious and so delighted to see what will happen that we can do absolutely anything. And Spirit will go into that manifestation without hesitation so that we and it can experience the results of that. We do not only create individually, we create collectively. We create collectively. Have you ever landed in an airplane in a city somewhere and gotten out of the plane and thought, ooh, this place feels creepy, feels weird. Something doesn't feel right here. Have you ever had that experience? Or you get out of a plane someplace else and think, wow, amazing, this place feels great. Who are these people? Places have consciousness because of the collection of beliefs and consciousness that live there in the people. Families have consciousness. Nations have consciousness. The world has a consciousness that we together create collectively. Because this subconscious does not just break itself up and exist in everybody's own mind, these little bits of consciousness, like we're back to the raisin in a bun thing. The subconscious is this vast pool that we are all tapped into. And so we're all using that same vast subconscious pool. We use it for our individual experience, but we also use it for our collective experiences. This happens in places that we work. It happens in neighborhoods that we live in. One person moving into or out of a neighborhood can change the texture of that place and the energy of that whole group of people. One person can sour a workplace or perk it up. It is the collective consciousness that we come into together that produces results. Now, what that means is that we are influenced by the pool of consciousness that we're in, where we live, where we work, the country that we're part of, the people we associate with. It also means that those groups that we're part of are influenced by us. We do matter. We do have influence on these circles and on the larger whole. It, in fact, counts on us for our contribution. And we can up-level our contribution to the whole. Because when we shift something in ourselves to shift our own experience, it's not held and contained inside us. It's shared with everybody. We can literally be a gift to the entire world, one thought at a time. Now, if you're having a real hard time in your life right now, if things are difficult, if results have not been what you've wanted, if you've been feeling discouraged or frustrated or angry or tired or whatever it might be, the temptation then is to begin to feel guilty. Like, oh, well, I'm just a drain on everybody else, and this isn't a good thing, and it's all my fault. Rather than go there, look for people who lift you up and go hang with them. Look for groups whose energy is a little higher than yours and go hang out with them with the intention of immersing yourself in an atmosphere that helps you tune up. Because feeling bad isn't going to change it. It doesn't make it better for you. It doesn't make it better for others. And there's no real usefulness to feeling bad about yourself. I can't think of a single person I know who's feeling bad about themselves has actually helped them. Or me. Or anybody else I know. And I don't want them to feel bad about that then too. Rather, what I'd like to be able to do is invite to notice sooner myself. Do I need a little lift? Who do I know that's a shining sparkle that I could go have coffee with? I don't even need to tell them about my problems. All I need to do is just sit with them and tune into their juice a little bit. Not to take it from them, but to find my own. We don't want to be draining stuff off of other people. We're not going to suck their good energy out of them. I don't want a nation of vampires here. That's not what I'm trying to suggest. But rather, what we want to do is learn from them. Tune ourselves to them. There is such a thing as entrainment. Entrainment. When a group of people come together in like-mindedness, in consciousness, they become entrained to one another. And we can lift each other up in that way. There's a story in Stalking the Wild Pendulum about grandfather clocks. And it says if you put a bunch of grandfather clocks up against the wall together and they have the same length of pendulum, they're all ticking and talking away. But if they stand up against that wall together, after a while, all those pendulums will move together. They entrain to one another over time. And once they become entrained, you can go up and mess with one of them, but much more quickly it will get right back into rhythm with that entrainment, because once it's established, it's harder to break. So what we want to do as a group in our consciousness is entrain together at a higher level. Is hang around with people that lift us up and then come back on Sunday and bring some of that energy in here and lift the whole group. Then we begin to buzz in such a way that whoever comes into this building next today won't know who hit them. Because there's such an energy in here that will be a blessing to the next group that sits in these horrible chairs. Did I say that? We bless these old chairs. We bless them. We allow them to be more comfortable than they have any ability to be. So the power of our belief is quite amazing. You know what happened the first time somebody ran a 4-minute mile? It was Roger Bannister, and the way that it happened is it suddenly dawned on him that he could not possibly physically tell the difference between 4 minutes and 3 minutes and 999 hundredths of a second. He said, is there any way my body can tell the difference in 100th of a second or in 1/10 of a second? Is there any way I can really discern the difference? I can't imagine that difference is even that noticeable. And if that's true, surely I could go 100th of a second or 1/10 of a second faster. And then he broke the 4-minute